2 months back in one of my videos, I kind of mentioned that I am going to relocate to a undisclosed secret location. And so that relocation has happened. And the funny part is that I already moved back to Europe from that location. And when I just remembered yesterday that I mentioned this in one of my early videos, I kind of started thinking that maybe it's a good idea to make a life/business update time to time on this channel. So as a result, I decided to make this video, and also further down the line, I will probably make this every once in a while. And there are some changes around my life or business that I think worth mentioning, or if there are lessons learned that I'm happy to share and I think could be valuable to others. So the secret location was no other place but Bali, where there are a lot of entrepreneurs and business owners go. And as you can tell, I'm already back to cold winter Europe. So welcome back. It was a very different atmosphere and weather over there. So that's something I kind of still miss. I spent there around 2 months, and I kind of gained enough experience after spending a few months. And also last year I spent around a month there. And I met a lot of people. I kind of made my routines and daily things to do. I went to the gym, I had a home, I had an office, etc. So I think I have just enough experience to kind of share like a Bali review. And I am going to do that at the end of the video. That's what you are most interested in, then go to the timestamps and just skip to that part of the video. Because first I'm going to talk about the life and business updates that happened to me in the past couple of months. I said that we are going to relocate with a partner of mine in the Creators League, and basically that's what happened. We moved out there, we had amazing time. And so one really big advantage of Bali is that there are a lot of creators, content creators there, a lot of coaches, the type of business owners, people and entrepreneurs who we are really working with in the Creators League. So this was a really good environment for that business. And also during our time in Bali, we have 2 major client acquisitions, and we started working with 2 amazing clients who really have something to share, and they are really amazing people. So we are extremely happy with Roland that we are able to serve such good educators. One of them is actually an artist, and the other one is an 8-figure entrepreneur who exited a huge e-commerce business. For the latter person, we have created a high-ticket coaching program basically from scratch. It was a huge hustle to make it happen for him. We have been involved with the whole offer creation process. We've created everything from scratch. We have also built an entire webinar campaign for him for the launch, and it was actually a successful launch. It's in the men's coaching industry, and that launch we've actually closed that with a $41,000 launch. So it was really, really successful. With our other new client, who is an amazing artist, an amazing musician, and we've started creating a very long journey together for a community that we are building for his audience. And so he has a huge audience, well over 1 million people following him. And the method and the music that he is teaching and sharing with people is very inspiring, and it feels really good that we are working with such great people and we are helping them creating an offer and being out there on the market, and they are also able to make a good living out of it, and they are also able to share their knowledge on a much higher level and give a much bigger and deeper commitment to the people that they are serving. We also did have some amazing time with some of our friends and with Roland. So it was a really, really good time for our business. So building the Creator League and building a huge agency out of it for creators and coaches eats up majority of my time. However, I'm also working with amazing agency owners out of the United States and Canada, and that's the market that they are mainly serving. So that's kind of like the next chapter I would like to go into. I was building more complex systems for really large agencies with large teams, large amount of customers. And so I've made a lot of improvements around GoHighLevel mainly. As you can see, I'm a big supporter of GoHighLevel. Also some really serious tracking systems for large number of clients in Hyros to be able to properly track where the revenue and where the booked calls are coming from. So these are systems from the past couple of months that I'm really proud of. I'm really happy to work with such amazing agency owners that I do. I unfortunately can't share so much in very, very detail because I do have strict NDAs to follow, but a lot of systems have been built out for large teams and well over 100+ clients around GoHighLevel. So those are kind of softwares and tools that I have been using in the past couple of months. And also I've worked with an agency owner out of Hungary and also a digital product owner from Hungary, which collaborations were really, really successful. The agency owner who I've been working with is owning a cold calling as a service agency, basically. So they do have a large list, and then basically they are setting appointments as an agency for customers. And we have been basically building a lot of backend operations, and it was very, very successful because after just a month of implementing those notification systems and basically a lot of notification systems to the team members, they are aware or if something happens, and a really, really solid kind of like an operations or a service delivery CRM system where you basically can track and follow where people are, and there are also notifications coming constantly to the coworkers. Like what's happening, if the contract is signed, if it's not signed yet, and it helped tremendously. It freed up so much time for the agency that they were able to restart their paid ads because they had to turn off because there were just so many clients coming in that they were not able to serve on a very efficient level. And so now they were able to free up some extra time and create that extra capacity that made the company more profitable. So I'm very proud of that project as well. And the other project I was working on out of Hungary is basically a digital product, a digital service owner who I've been working with. A lot of systems have been implemented because there is also a couple of salespeople implemented in the team. And so the big result in about 2 months of working together is that they have been at 10,000 euros per month MRR. And then we went up to 20K, and we are holding that 20K for about 2 or 3 months. So I would say it looks pretty consistent, and the plan is to increase that even further. So these have been the big client successes and client stories from the past couple of months. And I also do have some other updates. For example, if you are watching this video, you can already see my YouTube. And I would say it's much more structured. For a very long time now, I'm trying to figure out what kind of content I should create, because I don't consider myself as a content creator. I'm more considering myself as a business person who creates content as a marketing tool. If it was the television or the radio or the yellow pages, or it would be putting a balloon up on the air, that's what I would do if that's what makes attention and business. I don't necessarily like creating content. I like creating a business and documenting the process of it. And I use that to build trust with people who are interested in the field that I'm working on, and potentially start to work together. So basically that's my aim. And it took me a very long time to figure out what type of content I would like to create. And actually in that very video where I mentioned that I am going to relocate, I just started to record because I was way overthinking. I made a studio back then in another place, and then basically I barely recorded any videos. So I was really overthinking. So that's why I thought that, hey, I'm just going to pick up the camera and I'm just going to do whatever I'm going to do. Since then, I just made a couple of those type of videos. And then I started to make more like the GoHighLevel tutorial videos in the next upcoming weeks. Those are the ones that I'm going to keep producing, actually, GoHighLevel related videos. Having clarity and having having clarity of what I'm actually creating and what I'm documenting and what I want to do with this channel is, I think, a really big step forward for me, because I have been really trying to figure this content thing out for a very long time now. So I guess I'm kind of on point now. And after I'm kind of focusing on the GoHighLevel part of things, I also, when I can, I want to talk about client successes, potentially bring on clients for an interview. I've actually also created a podcast with a cold outreach specialist in Bali. So he's an agency owner. That is a very interesting podcast, I believe. Already either posted or maybe it's going to come up in the next couple of days. So if that's something that interests you, then just take a look at that. I'm also planning to make a podcast with a copywriter who is a killer copywriter. We have worked together for over a year now on multiple occasions, on multiple projects. So that's also, I'm really excited to bring on and talk about copywriting as well. And also I would like to talk about a lot of AI topics, especially AI automations, AI agents. That knowledge is kind of still gathering in me because I'm building prototypes and I'm building multiple different kind of chatbots, outbound call agents. They are generally in the test phase. And with a couple of clients of ours, I'm rolling out prototypes and I'm making prototypes for them. And once I'm really confident enough to like share and teach that kind of knowledge, then I'm going to go into those as well. So GoHighLevel, I'm really comfortable with because I've used that and I've built GoHighLevel behind multiple businesses. I improved really complex systems. That's something I'm going to produce now. In the back, I'm going to keep my head down and just build AI automations and AI systems. And once I'm ready, I'm going to come back here and I'm going to share those AI systems as well. That's something I'm really looking forward to. Next topic is going to be about office and equipments. Being in Bali really helped me, again, kind of realize that most of my time, to be efficient, I need to have a fixed place. And although we did have an office, I didn't have the kind of equipment that I needed. I did have an old MacBook Air with an M1 chip with 8 gigabytes of RAM, and I used a lot of different softwares at the time. I did have a big monitor, but it wasn't enough for me. And all of these tech issues really peaked at me out in Bali. So I decided to reinvest a whole bunch of money, a couple of grand, and get a couple of proper monitors. I got a proper Mac Mini that really serves me now to run multiple softwares and multiple projects at the same time, because sometimes I'm waiting for some information and then I could do something else, but then it's not open and I have to log in, log out. These are things that are really seem minor, but when it accumulates and then it just chips away small seconds or small minutes from my life, it really adds up and it really gets fairly annoying. I realized that having a proper office and the proper setup and reinvesting to equipment is, I think it's extremely important. And so that's what I did. And I'm very happy with the new setup, and I'm super happy and satisfied to have a proper cable internet, a proper setup with multiple monitors, and I can just really go into deep work and get stuff done. Because really, I believe a proper working environment, proper equipment, and a proper office which is really dedicated to work, or it can be just like another room in your house, like whatever works for you, of course. I think it's just really more efficient to get work done. And I think it can be very fancy to go out to the beach with a laptop or a phone and just run the business from the beach, but it's never gonna be really running a business. I mean, maybe for some people it is, and if you have so much employees that you really just need to call them and you don't have to be in the day-to-day, which I think is in a really high level, then it might be enough to just run things from your phone and from your laptop. But I think even when you have multiple employees, as long as you don't have a proper C-level in the company who really takes over everything and you barely have to make decisions and only just look at dashboards and make decisions and then just tell to your people what they need to do, I think until someone reaches that level, a proper office will be always more efficient than having a couple of phone calls on the beach, barefoot, shirtless, while you are just walking around. And the last one before the Bali review is that I've been blessed that I was invited for a podcast in a closed group community, basically around building an agency, building agency systems, building marketing systems. And it's a pretty big community. And there were around 1,100 people listening to that podcast where me and 2 other people were talking about really how to build an agency, how to build systems around an agency, how to do the marketing part of it, how to get your first clients, how to do customer acquisition and stuff like that. I was really grateful for that for the very first time I've been invited to an online podcast interview, basically, which was listened to by 1,100 people. It was really a nice experience, and I'm glad that I was able to give back a little bit of the knowledge that I have been accumulating in the past couple of years. And finally, we are here at the Bali review section of this video. Since I'm not a traveler, I'm not going to tell you which waterfall you should go to. I will mostly focus on stuff that is relevant to you as a business owner or an entrepreneur, such as like community, office, etc. Should you move to Bali or should you run a business from Bali? The answer, as always, the Joker answer is it's up to you. I'm going to tell my experience and I'm going to tell you how I'm going to approach Bali in the next couple of years, and then you can make your own decisions from these feedbacks. I believe that living there 2 months, maybe 3 months is just enough to get a glimpse of how life is there. I did have an advantage to already know some people. Setting up things there for me was pretty quick, but if you are new, it might even a few weeks, even a week or two, until you get a proper office if that's what you need. Get a home, just a little bit, go around the places and see where you're gonna have like your regular breakfast and such. So it's just enough time to dip your toes into the water. And I've already noticed some patterns and see how the life is going out there. So there are a couple of big advantages. One of them is community, obviously. The people you are going to meet out there are flocking into Bali from all over the world. It's extremely crowded. There are a lot of people, especially places like Canggu, and also the surrounding areas and suburb areas around Canggu is also like getting really packed up. A lot of people there, a lot of entrepreneurs, a lot of people are living there full time for years now. Some people just live there seasonally and traveling around the world, and then just come back there every once in a while. There are also amazing places, gyms and spas and gym spa mixes basically, where you just can't go into the sauna without someone talking to you. Everyone is really open. Everyone is kind of like there to network and talk to each other and share ideas. There are also a lot of communities, brotherhood groups, and a lot of things. So it's very inspiring. Very good people are out there. I really do believe that it's a good place for building a business because it's just very motivating. The other big advantage is that the weather is always good. There are sometimes more rainy, obviously, in the rainy season, but it's still warm. The weather is still warm. You can just walk around. It's very easygoing. You can just jump on a bike, go wherever you want. So that's a huge advantage because also when you are running into problems, problems arise. It's just much easier to go through that in like a beautiful weather with a lot of green around you, beautiful people, beautiful beaches. Just go down, walk for a little bit, and you go back to the office and you feel much, much better. I also had a lot of routines like going to the beach at 4 p.m., just walk for 30 minutes, come back to the office and then keep working. Those are things that really add to your day-to-day life when you are running a business, and it's really good to have compared to being back in cold Europe during winter time in a big city where you really don't want to go out because it's just cold all the time. Another big advantage is that you almost unable to eat unhealthy and not go to the gym. Everyone is looking amazing. Everyone is going to the gym. Everyone is eating healthy. And so with that environment and that kind of positive peer pressure, it's really hard to just leave your health behind and focus on the business, but you really like carve out a little time all the time for a little gym and to eat healthy and to have those kind of routines. It's much easier, at least for me, and I realized to set up those routines that really serve you and not just be in the grind and you leave your health behind. So it's also a huge, huge advantage to Bali. And then now, after the advantages, I'm also going to talk about the disadvantages, at least for me. So I mentioned that there are a lot of people and it's really good. And at the same time, there is also a downside to it. If you want to be in the place where everyone else is, the infrastructure in Bali is not that developed. Actually, it's developing now. And so the existing infrastructure, which is overloaded by people, and then now as they see that people are flocking in from all over the world, they try to improve the infrastructure, and then that temporarily slows down the day-to-day life as well. There are roads being stuck. People with the bike are even going on the pedestrian area, and then basically sometimes the whole road can be blocked and no one is moving nowhere. It's extremely unhealthy since you are not even sitting in a car, most likely, but being on a bike. And so if you don't have a mask or anything, you are inhaling all that gas. And the cars there, believe me, don't have the Euro 6 emission rating, to say the least. So if you are considering to set up your life, be aware that you really will travel a lot around your home, your office if you have one, and the gym and a couple of areas. And so it really makes sense to have them in a very small proximity. Even with like your day-to-day, go a little bit like outside, maybe from the Canggu area, and then just live there and then come into Canggu to meet with people and go to places in the late evening or just occasionally, but don't live there like day-to-day. Because I have been living in like the very, very middle of it. And sometimes when I get stuck for 40 minutes in the traffic and I just inhale all that smog and gas, it's not good for my health, for sure. The other negative for me is, again, related to the infrastructure. I did really miss sitting in my car and just going wherever I want, listening to music. Although you can listen to music on the bike as well, but it's not the same. Maybe it's just a personal thing. I really do like going with car around, and so I did really miss that. The bike is also fun, but if I have to choose, I would rather pick my car. And another big negative is the time zone. Most of the people I'm working with are in the United States or in Europe. We are also working with a couple of subcontractors in Asia, but generally they are optimized for US or Europe time zone. So even working with them is kind of like if having them in Europe or US time zone. If you think about it, one of the three is always sleeping, right? Because US, Europe, and Asia, like it's always night at somewhere. And so you can really optimize your life around this, have like a really slow morning and just chill, do everything around the afternoon and night. Even with the US, you can have like early morning meetings or morning sales calls and then really late night. But the thing is that for me, for my personal routine and my personal biorhythm, it's really, really inefficient. I really like to get up in the morning and just start working immediately. But if I do that, then I get really tired at night. And if in the late hours, I'm really inefficient. That's when I generally go to the gym and a little bit chill out. But then Europe and the US is still alive and they would want to have meetings, right? And so in the morning, when I would want to work, I can't work with anyone when I'm really efficient to do that. For me personally, again, it's something that I didn't like. The Euro time zone is much better for me personally. So consider that this is how your life is going to look like if you are in that time zone. And the last thing is about the motivation of people, which I don't even know if I should say as a positive or a negative. I would rather say it as a neutral. It will largely contribute of my decision how much time I'm going to spend there. And this is what I mean by this. I kind of realized that most of the people who are in Bali are more optimizing their life to be an optimally enjoyable life and just putting the work next to it and work just as much to have like a comfortable life, kind of enjoy going to the beach, going surfing, meeting up with people. And in the past couple of months, what I realized is that the people I'm really looking up to and I'm really learning a lot from are generally in places like Dubai or other places where there are much more competition. People are building much bigger businesses, talking about much higher numbers. And that's what motivates me from a business perspective. On the other side of the coin, it's kind of getting soulless and only optimizing for business is just one-sided from a holistic view of life. From this point of view, it's really an advantage that people in Bali are more like optimizing their business to serve their life. I'm kind of like in the middle and it's always changing in me where I'm taking a look at. And probably that's why I came up with the following conclusion, which is I'm going to be spending time there seasonally. I could never imagine my life being there full time and all year around because I just really miss the infrastructure. I really miss big cities. I really miss my car. I really don't like the time difference and the time zone there. It's not optimal for me. However, the people are really nice. There are a lot of interesting people to meet with. And so I would also couldn't imagine not to live there every once in a while for a couple of months and then meet those kind of people. What I really came up with for myself, for my individual case, is that my home base is mainly going to be Europe. This is the best for me by far, having a proper office, having a proper place where I could sit down and just crank out work as much as I want. And I really do enjoy that. And spending a couple of months, maybe 1, 2, 3 months out of Bali or just a few weeks if I want to, and go there, enjoy, meet people, and kind of maintain the business in that time period, and then just get back to Europe and then be efficient again. And then probably I will time those moves for the winter when it's cold in Europe. That's kind of how it makes sense. And I also met a lot of people who actually do this. There are really two camps, people who do this seasonal living and then people who are really out there for good for a long time. And then sometimes they don't even go back to their home country for even Christmas or whatever. So they really live there. So as an answer to the question, if it's still in your head, what you should do, it's obviously really going to be up to you. But with factoring these information in and making your own choice, one thing is for sure, I would really highly recommend to go out there and experience it for yourself, because you will probably either decide to go out seasonally or go out full time. And so everything would start with just a couple of months and then you would decide it for yourself which decision suits you better. If you don't like it at all, that's also fine. But I think you're going to be in either those two categories that I just mentioned. So this was kind of like the Bali review and a little bit to the end of what's next for me in terms of business. In the future, as I kind of already mentioned, I am going to heavily focus on AI automation and AI implementation to businesses. The core systems integrator knowledge that I already have around GoHighLevel, around multiple platforms, I already see in those platforms that they are heavily investing in developing AI solutions within their own tech stack, basically. But I also see some emerging tools such as Blend AI, VoiceFlow, who have really advanced and good solutions for voice calling agents. And I'm already experimenting a lot with them. Also building and testing out a lot of flows for ChatGPT and Claude for copywriting processes and automations and one-shot prompting, etc. This is something that I already gained a lot of experience. I already have a lot of use cases and implementations for our clients. And so soon enough on this channel, I am going to talk about these use cases and how AI can be really implemented in either automation or for copywriting or both, actually, and a lot of other use cases. So that's going to be my next chapter, definitely. And when I come up with the next video like this, I will probably talk about almost entirely AI and AI automation. So be ready for that one. And with that said, thank you for watching my recap of the last couple of months. See you in the next video.